Donald Trump introduced his platinum plan, which you can, which is almost like his plantation plan, right? Because what he said his platinum plan. I'll go over it. President Donald Trump unveiled a plan aimed at winning over black Americans on Friday, less than 2 months before Election Day, largely expanding upon the existing economic related initiatives the president established in his first term, right? The proposals include prosecuting the Ku Klux Klan and Antifa as terrorist organizations, making Juneteenth a federal holiday in efforts to bolster black economic prosperity. He was quoted as saying, if you vote Republican over the next 4 years, we will create 3 million new jobs for the black community, open 500,000 new black-owned businesses, increase access to capital in black communities by 500 billion is what he says. The plan also calls for expanding opportunity zones, designating the Ku Klux Klan and Antifa as terrorist organizations, and creating a national clemency project to right wrongful prosecutions and to pardon individuals who have reformed, right? So here's the thing. I am not a fan of Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Now, of course, I have Joe Biden. If you go to his website, he has a quote unquote plan for Black America as well, where it includes the advancement of economic mobility of African Americans and close the racial wealth gap, expand access to high quality education, and tackle racial inequity in our educational system, make far reaching investments in, okay, fuck all that. Okay, look, so here's the thing. To me, because currently Donald Trump is losing the black vote to Biden. Most of us are more willing to vote for Biden than willing to vote for him, right? So to me, this platinum plan or this plantation plan is just more rhetoric. It's just more rhetoric. And this is why it's difficult for me to trust politicians, because when I'm listening to him talk about this proposed plan, every other second he's taking shots at Joe Biden. He's kind of comparing it to how the Democrats have fucked us over for years. And this whole Democratic Republic thing, don't get confused by this shit, family. Black folks was Republicans at one time. So what? So what? I mean, in general terms, the Republican ideology has some things you may agree with. The Democratic ideology has some things I may agree with. But ultimately, my whole purpose of voting is for my interests, right? Like, what are my interests? They are mentioning, now they're hitting key points on what our interests are as black folks, but during his first term, he spoke about some of this same shit. And again, for me, it's just difficult to trust, right? Because I see black people tell me all the time, a lot of them, more than you would think, why we should support Donald Trump, right? Now, what do they go to when they say support Donald Trump? They talk about the unemployment rates for black people that are lower now, which is bullshit. The employment rates were going down in numbers from Obama's term. So he's just capitalizing off of some shit Obama started. But he makes it sound, because he's a salesman and a politician, he makes it sound like it's some shit he created. When we talk about poverty, when we talk about black poverty and things of this nature, again, these are programs that he's backing to a degree, but these numbers were sliding down before he even got into office. Now, the First Step Act, or the First Step Act that's designed to pardon all of these prisoners. Now, I see black folks who had a cousin or a brother who was pardoned by Trump during his administration, and that makes them real emotional. So because of that, they feel Trump is the best person for the job. No, I still don't fuck with that. That's not pardoning, to pardon. What has it been so far? 6,000 people, 5,000 people. Now, on one hand, you can say, yeah, that's cool. That's freeing black people. Well, what about overhauling this system in general, President Trump? The criminal justice system in general needs a complete overhauling. Now, yeah, saying the words black people, and here's an agenda for black people, I don't give you no brownie points for doing that. Keep it in mind, Obama never did that. Obama never came out of his mouth where here is a black agenda, right? He never did that. We got to keep it real. And he did shit behind the closed doors that you probably won't agree with, like all politicians do. You know what I mean? So it's difficult for me to trust this dude when all the claims he's made about what he's done for us, if you do the research, you can find holes in all of those arguments. Now, giving money to HBCUs, again, that was something that was in place already. That was something that was heading in that direction already. It just came on his desk. He just signed it. It ain't like some shit he created to do. It ain't like some shit he was his brainchild to help black folks. You see what I'm saying? So for me, I just can't trust Donald Trump. From his divisive rhetoric, and people will say, hey, don't look at the rhetoric, look at the policies, but rhetoric creates temperament. Rhetoric creates mentalities. Like how he's spoken, whatever audience he's in front of, that's who he's going to pander to, right? When we look at the Make America Great Again shit, when we look at his political rallies that was almost like Klan rallies, where he would see somebody black yelling and say, 30, 40 years ago, we'd be stringing you up on a tree, or 30, 40 years ago, we'd be getting you out of here. His comments on it was in Charlotte, North Carolina, or Charlottesville, where he said there's fine people on both sides. People who support him will say, no, you took his comments out of context. No. I read the whole transcript. That's what he said. It's fine people on both sides not realizing that everybody there was on some fuck shit. At that particular rally, rally that they were having, because the Robert E. Lee statue was coming down, everybody in the building was there on some fuck shit. Everybody in the building was there militarizing themselves against who? If you white and you militarizing yourself, who are you going against? Don't make me act. You're not gonna lie to me and make me think it's the police you're going. No. It's not just the police you're going after. So yeah, you wanna. He said he's gonna make the terrorist group Ku Klux Klan and the terrorist group Antifa. What about the Democratic Party? Y'all fucking terrorist group too. Republican Party. Y'all a terrorist group too. The Proud Boys. I can go on and on about groups that you could consider a fucking terrorist group. Come on, man. So unfortunately, I don't want black people to get caught up in any of this rhetoric. It's 2 months before election time. Excuse me. And I vote independent. And as of right now today, I'm not voting for Donald Trump or Joe Biden. I may just go behind that curtain and put in somebody's name. I may put in fucking Malcolm X. I may just put in any goddamn name that I want to at this point. You're not gonna force me to vote. You're not gonna pander to me to the point where I feel bad about not voting. Fuck that. Fuck that. We've been voting for a very long time. What has that gotten us substantial? Like, the small gains is cool, but 100 years of small gains? Where has it gotten us to this day? Right? We talking about Biden, we talking about Trump, we still getting killed. Who's gonna stop the police killing? Trump, in his speech, he thanked about 13 police organizations. He thanked about 13. The police is in his back pocket, man. The police is in his back pocket. He calling Black Lives Matter a terrorist organization. He say whatever the fuck he feels he needs to say at the moment. If a person did this to you, right? Let's just take it out of politics. Let's say you was in a relationship with somebody, and every time some shit popped off, they lied to you. Every time some shit popped off, they told you what you wanted to hear in the interim, just to get their way. How would you feel about them? If every time y'all in a room with different people, they're speaking to the sensibilities of that group of people. Is that a person that's going to be trustworthy? Right? Biden giving all this shit about what his plan is for black community, which is all hollow goddamn statements, but you ain't even apologize for the crime bill that you helped write, that infected my father, my actual father, that infected my brother. Like, the injustices that have happened from politicians, a lot of us have felt this shit directly from our family being affected by these 3 strikes laws, our family being affected by the drug war. You know what I mean? And Trump stepping in and mentioning this small shit, he's going to change the First Step Act where the minimum sentencing for crack cocaine is being changed a little bit differently. This is some shit Obama started as well, changing the minimum sentencing for crack-related crimes opposed to cocaine. You know what I mean? So it's a whole bunch of confusing shit, but at the end of the day, I don't fuck with none of these motherfuckers, man. You're not going to force me to be involved in all this shit. And when I talk to somebody black about why I don't like Trump, you know what